Hello everyone and welcome to the first look, and today we'll take a look at the ZMF Bokeh. Now this version, I purchased it last year. I listened to it before, so I can't say that I never heard it before, but I kind of forget how it sounded like because I went quite a long time away from this. So I thought that I would still be okay to do a first look and have a good impression on it, right? Now this version is something that I purchased it myself from Zeppelin, and because it's the last year version, there is no clamshell case, so it's just the box, spare pads, and then the headphone itself. Now without wasting time, let me show you what's inside this version. So you can see here, this is the headphones, this is the card, it shows you the Limba version, and then the cables are here. This is the 4.4 cable, at least the one I requested. Now this is a cloth, or is it a carrying case? I'm not too sure, I never opened it before. And then you can see this is the spare pads, and then the one on the headphones itself. Of course, ZMF gave some extra stuff, which is a coaster, which I can kind of ignore. So pretty much this is what's given in the box itself. You can see these are the pads. Now the version that I have here are the suede versions inside with perforated, and then of course the leather versions. Now I will try off both pads later and tell you guys what's the difference. And then I will also, talk a little bit on the sound signature on the Bokeh, because this is a first look video, right? I'll be using a DAP because the Bokeh was designed to be easily ran. So it has 80 ohm impedance and it is quite easy to power. Most DAPs should be able to power it even if you don't spend too much money on it. But no, before we talk about that, let's take a look at the Bokeh itself. You can see this is the Limba version, so it's a nice wood cover. I prefer this one than the original one, which I think is a slightly reddish edition. I think this one looks nicer, at least it looks more classy to me. Overall, I do like the Bokeh when it comes to looks, but it is very similar to what you get in like the Verite, the Atrium, and what's not. Other than that, everything else is very similar. You get a very solid headband. This is like a very good build quality, and then a very nice padded band with a holding leather here. I really don't have much complaint about the Bokeh itself. Now, the Bokeh uses dynamic driver. This is not a planar, it's a pure dynamic driver using their LCP liquid, I think some polymer kind of surface. Now, I'm not into specifications, at least not for these headphones, because the most important part is how does it sound. So far, specifications don't really mean much until you put it on your ears and listen to it. So let's not waste too much time on it. Now, even though this is a closed bag, there are some holes to vent, and that is quite normal for ZMF headphones. Now, this is a balance cable, so you can see 4.4 balance, and then you can see this is like the 3.5mm connectors. So unlike the other ZMF headphones, this one uses a 3.5mm to connect to their headphones, and then from there connect to whatever termination you want. The other ZMF uses the 4-pin XLRs. So without wasting time, I'll use my DAP here. This is the Ester & Kern SE300. Of course, it's a R to R. Let's not waste time and listen to it. So I've heard the Bokeh, and on general, I feel that it is more on the warmish side of sound. The bass does thump pretty well, but I don't find that they are very responsive, like the fastest thump in the world, but they thump pretty well, and there is satisfaction listening to it. Overall, I do find that the sound signature is a little bit more on the slightly slow side. When you listen to music with headphones, normally some headphones will render them like, they are a bit more faster, and then this one just renders it a little bit more slower, but it also results in a smoother sound, a more soothing sound, a less exciting sound. But it depends on your own personal preference, right? There is no sibilance, at least with these pads. It sounds really good. I think there was good clarity, though it is still a little bit more on the warm side. Now, there is treble. I do hear all the treble instruments, and of course the air and the vocals come in, but I don't think that they are a lot. It's pretty much more smoothed out kind of feel on those ends. But overall, I think the sound signature was a very pleasant sound signature with a soundstage that is pretty good for a closed bag. At least it's slightly out of my head, not inside the head itself. Comfort-wise, when I was wearing it, was also pretty nice. The pads were very nice. Overall, I don't really have any complaint on the sound signature of this headphone, at least the Bokeh itself. Now, just to note that I use with my SE300 on Class A, so yes, amplification do change things a little bit, but you know, you're using a bokeh here, you're not going to spend tons and tons of money. So pretty much, I think at least this combination was a very nice and satisfying combination to listen to. Now, without wasting time, let me change the pairs and then give you guys some feedback on it, you know, whether these pads are worth to change to. So I have changed the pads and I've changed the pads back because the leather version, the one without any suede, in this version has some suede inside. This sounds terrible. It feels like it muffles out the whole sound, feels very boomy. It's not pleasant. It feels like, you know, details are just all smeared all around. This is a lot better. It gives a much nicer overall sound signature, a more pleasant, smoother, and with good amount of clarity. In fact, if you ask me, in its default mode like this, with the suede pads, not like this, the suede inner lining pads, I think that they are one of the better sounding closed backs I ever tried before. It doesn't have any weird rendition, as I say, very pleasant sound, just a little bit slow, but still very, very pleasant. And I think ZMF did a very good job making this headphone itself. And when I was listening to Ibarra, it feels still very powerful, just a little bit more slow paced, like Edo is taking her time to sing the song. That's how I would describe it. Now, of course, with every headphone, I would need some comparisons. So give me a moment, let me take another closed back out and then we'll do a comparison itself. So you can see here, this is the Bokeh and this is actually the Caldara Closed, which I actually did a first look before. Now, obviously, the price difference is huge. I mean, the Caldara Closed costs like 3 times its price, or maybe even 4, depending on where you get it, right? The Bokeh itself is very pleasant, very smooth, full-bodied, but the Caldara just beats it in terms of soundstage, in terms of clarity, in terms of speed. You know, just not the speed that I'm talking about. And also, in terms of treble, it is so much more lively sounding there. And it is more of a neutral tone, while this is a little bit more on the warmer tone. And when you ramp the volume up, you can hear that it gets a little bit muffledness because of the bass, while the Caldara Closed still remains relatively clear. But the advantage of the Bokeh is at lower volumes, or should I say normal volumes, the bass is a lot more satisfying and the body of the mids are very filled up. Caldara is still very nice and responsive there, but not as satisfying as the Bokeh when it comes to the bass and of course the body of the sound. So if you are looking for a full-bodied mids and a more satisfying bass, actually the Bokeh gives you that a little bit more, but the Caldara gives you speed, soundstage, clarity, and overall I would say a much more refined and clean sound compared to the Bokeh itself. So overall, I think that the Bokeh is a very, very good headphones. And for a closed back, I think it is very impressive. It is definitely one of the best closed back I ever heard, especially once you change the pads to the version that I talked about, the leather but the suede inner linings is a lot better. The original leather ones that also come with it sounds very, very muffled there. Do not use it. At least for me, I don't like it at all. And among all the closed backs, I think this one retains the very close back sound, which is, you know, it has a lot of body, its bass is a little bit more on the filled up side, unlike the Caldara Closed. There is a very nice trait, but the Bokeh does it well, you know, it's not boomy until you on it very, very loud. So I really do enjoy the Bokeh as a closed back headphone tremendously. While for the Caldara, I think that it is comparable to even open backs, while the Bokeh is just a very soothing, nice closed backs that you can enjoy very easily. Now, that being said, this is 2025 and there are a lot of new closed backs. There is also the FT1, which I also purchased it, and I also have the Verite Closed, which is a very upscale version of the Bokeh, which I will also do a video soon. Overall, I think closed backs are getting a lot better. I also recently tested out, you know, the DCA Noah X. I think that is also fantastic. It doesn't even sound like a closed back anymore. The only reason why it's still a closed back is because there is no external noise. Well, closed backs are very exciting. And in 2025, I think closed backs will be a hit with many people. That's about it for today. I hope you enjoyed my first look on the Bokeh. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.